Hello everybody, how are we all doing? 20922 here. Yeah, thought I'd finally get this done. It's been a fair old time since I was actually supposed to do it. I mean, I think, where did I actually put this particular thing? You can tell how well prepared I am. Back up to the top of the video, come on. Yeah, you mean it now. I put this up, getting on for, must be 4 or 5 weeks now, and I said I'd film it within 3. Yeah, basically, any night that I wanted to do it, it's been so hot lately, it's just completely killed me off, and I've just been falling asleep early. So I thought today I might as well put myself right through the paces, get up early, go film at 5 different stations, and now start doing this. And it's currently 12:30 at night, and this is going to take me till probably, I don't know, 2 in the morning, if not later, on the basis that I've got to do probably 2 of these at 45 minutes a hit, because there's so many questions, which I think is fantastic. Like, the response I've got out of you guys is brilliant, and because I've actually left it for a little bit longer than I wanted to, it means I've actually managed to get more bits on there. So yeah, I have to make a start. So I'm working from the bottom of the video all the way to the top, and the way the comments have gone on here, it actually means that some have come on here before others. So there may be ones that were put through last week that are actually at the bottom of this will be answered first, and the ones that were put through at the very beginning could even be in the middle or the top. It's completely random how this works. So if your question isn't answered in this video, then I imagine it'll be in the next one. Right, so to kick things off, the Great Eastern Train Spotter. Before I ask my questions, I'd like to say well done for reaching 5,000 subs, and are well deserved, and sooner or later you'll be at 5,000. Thank you very much, and here's hoping. Right, anyway. Right, favourite electric freight locomotive? Do you prefer LNER or LNWR? What is your favourite sprinter? Would you ever consider making train videos on a camera recorder? Right, okay, I'll start with question 1. Favourite electric freight locomotive? Probably the Class 86. They just have a tremendous sense of character about them. It's a shame you don't ever see them being able to haul a decent length train on their own. You always have to be double-headed. But I just think they look the part, and they're fantastic. Right, LNER or LNWR? Well, LNER, because it's had much more of a rich history in comparison to the London North Western Railway, and also in terms of the modern day companies, rejuvenating them both. Again, the LNER, because they just do more. They offer better services. I mean, obviously LNWR is just a generic commuter service. It runs from London Euston to Northampton, Milton Keynes, Crewe, Liverpool, and then at some stage they'll be going off to the likes of Preston and everything else like that. But LNER just has more colourful routes to them. Favourite sprinter? It's probably the 158, to be fair. And would you ever consider making videos on a camera recorder? No, not really. I'm quite happy to film it on a tablet because that's my style. It's no different than me doing this Q&A off this phone. That's how I'm doing it. Like, that looks more like a bloody food health hygiene thing there, but I can assure you that's actually just the end of an advert on this video. But no, it's just my style of filming. It's how I prefer doing it. You'll have to forgive me if I'm looking over here. I'm actually looking at myself on the camera, but the actual camera is here. But it feels weird me looking at that because I can't see myself all clearly. So it looks like I'm actually looking over there. But I'm looking at myself. It's fine, trust me. But yeah, no, I wouldn't use a camcorder because it's just not my style. My style is always handheld on a tablet. Gives me much more freedom of movement, and yeah, it's just how I've got used to it. If I ever did use a camera recorder, I don't know if it'd have the same effect, really. I don't know. It's something I've got to do a bit of thinking about, but for the time being, it's just going to be a Samsung Galaxy tablet, to be fair. Right, next question, and again, from the looks of things, the questions have just been thrown into any random order. So if you put these in when I first put this video up, it appears that they've gone all over the show. Okay, so from Razor 1905, what was the first model train you got, and what was your favourite train of all time? I might be doing some train spotting videos on my channel. Do you have any advice on what to do? Okay, what first model train you got? Blimey. Old Lima. Maybe Triang. A couple of Trian Pullman carriages, followed by a couple of the old school Lima steam engines. The old Britannia was the first one. Well, to be fair, they're actually my granddad's, and then gave it to my dad, and then inherited from them. In terms of doing videos for yourself, it's difficult to say because each person's different. I mean, as I say, I film with a tablet, and I don't edit my videos. Whereas you get other people that use like really expensive bits of kit, tripods, like wind deflectors, the works, and then they go into the whole expense of editing videos, like intro music, outro music, fading in and out of shots, and everything else in between. But I don't do that. I stick at a fixed distance on a tablet, press record, train comes along, pause, wait for it to go, record again, so on and so forth. For me, that is literally what I do. It's so difficult to really give any advice because it depends what you want to film. Because I film everything, but I know some people focus purely on freight, and other people like passenger workings, or people just like to go to heritage railways and film steam, diesel, and so on and so forth. So it's a difficult question to answer because there's so many different ways to do it. I mean, the way I would do it, but then again, I put commentary in my videos. You may not want to. You may want to just keep it as a silent one per se. It's difficult to answer because really I need to know what plans you had for it. If you said like you want to do some train spotting, but you want to go to but you were limited to a particular area, or you wanted to film a particular type of train, I might be able to give you a bit more of a clearer answer. But because I don't really know what you're going to be filming with and roughly where you are in the UK, assuming you are in the UK, it's a difficult one to say, I'm afraid. But if you do watch this, put your question again in the comments, and just outline your basic plan, and then I'll actually answer it in your comments and hopefully get some clarity for you. Okay, we're in 8 minutes already, and yeah, this is going to be a long one, so I'm going to have to try and rattle through these now. Right, Neil Phillips. Virgin Trains have run the West Coast with a modicum of success. Why have they made such a dog's dinner of the East Coast? Are they essentially the same company or separate entities? No, they are exactly the same. Virgin Trains West Coast and Virgin Trains East Coast is a consortium between Virgin Trains and Stagecoach, always has been. That's the way those two operate. But with the West Coast, it was easy. They got the bid in the 90s and took it from British Rail. Obviously, when they had Intercity, took it from the late 90s, and and they've basically had it ever since. They've had it their own way. Essentially, what's made it work for the West Coast is that they brought in new trains. They replaced the old fleets of the HSTs. They replaced with the Voyagers, the 86 and 87 and the 90 fleet. They shipped those off to Anglia for the 90 ones with the Mark IIIs. The 86 and 87s were then exported to Bulgaria and Hungary and brought in with the 390s over a gradual period of a few years. Everything they were introduced in 2004, the 390s, and over the course of about 3 or 4 years they were slowly faded in, with the 86s and the 87s finally being given the boot. Problem with the East Coast, and with a lot of companies that have gone with this one, Sea Containers being the first. Now, Sea Containers had GNER, and they went bang. National Express took it over, and they were starting to go a bit, so they then gave it back to the government, who ran East Coast. And after a while, the government thought, okay, right, let's actually get this onto the vote. Who wants it? Virgin Trains want it, but it was a consortium between the Virgin Trains franchise and the Virgin Group. And the Stagecoach Group. Stagecoach had the biggest share in that, but Virgin were running it as well. The problem is, Virgin Trains East Coast actually put too much money into the bid. Now, that means that they were guaranteed it because they put so much money in. Sadly, they couldn't pay it off. So, whilst they had the franchise to start with, all was going well. And then last year, the financial team went, oh, we appear to have had a bit of a balls up here. And basically, they put too much money into the franchise. They couldn't pay it off. So, the government had to bail them out, and then obviously bring back in LNER. So, whether or not the government are actually ever going to keep a permanent hold on the East Coast franchise from now on, I don't know, or they're going to keep on it for a couple of years and then give it to another company, who knows. But so far, every single company that's had the East Coast franchise has gone bang, because they've put too much money into it and they can't afford to pay it off. That's basically how it works. So Virgin spent billions of pounds on refurbishing the HST fleet and the 91 fleet, or 225s really. Then obviously they're going to brought in the Azumas, or the 800s. That seemed to be going perfectly tickety-boo, but no, it basically all just went pot. So that's really what happened. They put too much money into the franchise, they couldn't pay it off, so the government had to bail them out. Right, LGN TV Trains, would you ever consider doing meetups with viewers? Of course. Like, I've always said, like, if I'm out at a station somewhere and you happen to see me filming, for goodness sake, come over and say hello. Just because I'm filming doesn't mean I don't want to be bothered. Like, if you want to come over and say hello, go on, be my guest. I don't bite, honestly. And if you actually want to arrange a meetup somewhere, at any station in the UK that I'm going to, yeah, go on, crack on. I'm all for it. I love meeting up with people. 90% of the time, I'm off just filming on my own, really. I'm standing at the end of a station, just like, filming away quite merrily. Passengers sort of just giving me the weird looks going, what's he doing? I think he's filming. A bit weird, isn't he? I assume that's what the case is. But yeah, it's if you ever want to meet up, honestly, drop me a message, and we'll try and get something organised as best we can. So honestly, just go for it. I don't mind people meeting up. It's all good. Green Slade 44 April. Hi, have you had any troubles at stations about film or taking photos? Well, I don't take photos, but filming. When I first started, I literally rocked up to any and every station, whacked out my tablet, filmed away as if I had care in the world. And then a couple of occasions I've had station staff approach me asking what it is I'm actually doing. So the only time I actually have had any trouble was at Seven Sisters. And that's just that was just shambolic. The staff there were rude as hell. It was just absolutely atrocious. But the only troubles I've had are when staff come up to me and say, oh, what are you doing? So I've had to explain it to them, and then they say, oh, really, you should have gone to a station manager and just told him, or even just told one of the train dispatchers what you'll be doing, because they get a little bit nervous. And at some of the really big stations like Birmingham New Street, if you don't actually get like a pass or something, then they won't actually let you film at all. So yeah, that's basically how it's gone. David Miller, hi, how are you getting on building a model railway? Yeah, as you know, I put the film up of me building it in, well, what was it, February, and I've not made any video updates on it since. I'm not going to make any video updates on it until it's actually finished, because I'm just waiting on one bit to basically disappear, and then it's sorted. Baseboard, it's all done. It's sorted. It's But it's literally it's good to go. Just need one final bit in the garden to disappear, as it were, and then basically job's a good one. So the next video you will actually ever see of my model railway will actually be a running session. I had actually had plans to sort of do more buildy bits and film it, but there's not much I can actually do with it realistically at this stage, so I just thought, well, I won't film any more of it. I'll keep cracking away at it whenever I get the opportunities to, and then you guys will see the finished article in the form of a running session at some stage. It really it boils down to whenever I get the opportunity to get it seen to. Right, Jamie Clarkson, I have a question for Snow922. What's his real name? Well, it appears that someone else has already answered that for me. I don't really feel like I should give out that, but, well, to be fair, well, it doesn't make any difference anyhow. But actual name is Jared. Bit of a unique name, but there we go. Owen Jedi 5000, also will Bletchley... Oh, okay, looks like he's asked a couple of questions. See, this is what I mean. You appear to have asked me a question before this, but your second question appears to have come through first. So if I answer questions in a backwards order, it's literally how I'm seeing it on here. So you have to bear with me. So yeah, also, will Bletchley TMD reopen when East-West Rail Link comes? It's already there. They were using it as a staging area for Great Western Railway Class 387s. It's already been opened. It's being used. I suspect when the East-West Rail Link does actually get completed, I'm sure that Chiltern, when they operate services, they will get something sorted. I'm sure a company will use it. Excuse me. Right, where are we? 17 minutes. Right, Lee Henley, even. Henley? How do they get Hanley when it's Henley? See. Alright, do you think... yes, alright, sorry, hold on, I can't even read. Do you think you will do Blackpool North in the next couple of years? Yes, but keep hearing stories that when people go up there to do filming in particular, they get shunned away. So, I'm not too sure. So, before I make a journey of that particular length, I'd want to sort of really double check that if I did go there, it wouldn't be for nothing and I wouldn't get shunned away at the first opportunity. So, wouldn't mind going there, but I need to make sure it'd be okay first. Pantograph Productions. If you were to make your own TOC, what classes would you operate, current, past or new, and where would you run routes to? That's a good question. I like that one. Right, if I had to make my own TOC, right, well, name-wise, I wouldn't know what to call it, to be honest with you. So let's just gloss over the fact that it hasn't got a name. It's nameless. It's a nameless company. What classes will I operate? I would strike a deal with... No, yeah, that's what I'll do. I would strike a deal with Freightliner. I'd take all of their 86s. I would re-engine the lot of them to give them a bit more oomph. I would then go to Greater Anglia and I would take all of their Mark III sets. I wouldn't keep the 90s. The 90s can go to a... In fact, yeah, that's what I'd do. I'd give the Greater Anglia 90s to Freightliner for freight, and I'd take the Freightliner 86s and put them on the Greater Anglia Mark IIIs, take all the Mark IIIs off Greater Anglia's hands, and I would then... What would I do? I would have a TOC doing open access, and I would have two routes going. I would do it from Scotland, so I'd have services from Glasgow and Edinburgh, all go via Motherwell, down the West Coast Main Line, all the way down to the likes of Crewe. From Crewe, I would then have one train every hour to Northampton, and everything else around it. I would go... No, scrap that. Scrap that completely. It's a daft idea. Same consist, Class 86s with Mark III carriages and the DVT on the rear. They would go from... Where should I go? Where should I take them from? London Paddington. Go away, fly. I'd go from London Paddington. I'd then go essentially through London, join the West Coast Main Line at Wilston Junction, and I would have them run up to... I'm trying to think where I can essentially join the line that's electrified. Okay, yeah, London Paddington onto the West Coast Main Line at Wilston Junction. I would have them run up to... London Paddington to Liverpool Lime Street. That's how I would do it. Would I do anything else with them? Just trying to think. So it would be direct competition. No, tell you what, better idea. Let's imagine that the cross-country route from Bristol Temple Meads to Birmingham New Street is fully electrified. Let's pretend that that's now a thing. So, consist stays the same. London Paddington to Bristol Temple Meads, up through Bristol Parkway to likes of Cheltenham Spa, up into Birmingham. From Birmingham, I would then have them come... where would I have them go? Where would I have them go? I would then bring them down to Coventry. From Coventry, I'd then run them along the line to Nuneaton. And then from Nuneaton, all the way up to Manchester Piccadilly. That's what I would do. It's a very long, convoluted route, mind you. But that's what would happen. And I reckon it would be really profitable as well. Very, very profitable. Yeah, London Paddington to Manchester Piccadilly via Birmingham New Street, Coventry, Nuneaton. And obviously, now do I have them go via Crewe or Stoke-on-Trent? Crewe. They'll go via Crewe. That's what I would do. Right, Neil Phillips. Do freight trains run A to B or A to B to C? If it's the first, why do they run with empty wagons in the middle and end occasionally? Surely it makes more economic sense to run a full train. No, it does. It does make more economic sense to run a full train, but however they have time limits to adhere to. And sometimes it depends what customer orders come through, because the freight trains will run a load depending on what the customer wants. So you may get Freightliners running a full consist. You may get DB Cargo running like a third full or a half full. Then you get GBRF that may not run anything at all. What you do find sometimes is that they may run to the likes of Felixstowe full, and then go from Felixstowe to, say, Trafford Park completely empty. It literally does depend on what orders they get put through. That's how they work. If they don't have a customer put through like orders for, like, say, oh, we have 20,000 containers that need shifting from, I don't know, Southampton to Felixstowe, they'll say, okay, we'll take that contract off you and we'll run these, but we have like times we can run our trains from. So let's say the train gets loaded up to half, but then it reaches its time where it has to go. It will then have to go, because if it doesn't go within its certain time, the company actually then start losing money. They get fined essentially for not running on time. Some trains will run A to B quite happily. Others will do, as you say, A to B to C. So what you will find is a lot of freight trains going from the south of England up to the likes of Scotland will go to Crewe Bass Hall, where they'll have a driver change and then continue onwards. Because some of the lengths of the journeys Intermodal in particular, because the length of intermodal services are quite lengthy. Coal trains and biomass, not so much. Same with oil trains or even the steel trains. You'll find that they can probably do straight runs and the driver's not an issue. But intermodal trains in particular, you'll probably find they get to a halfway mark where they have to have a driver change, or the driver has to actually stop the train there for a good few hours, has to have a mandatory rest, and then carries on. But you'll find that that particular one, that is actually timetabled into it. Okay, Sean Jessup. It's got a GCSE grade essay here. Hi bud, would you ever record just the tannoys at stations for us to hear where they are bound for and stopping, e.g. platform 11 for the 10:22 London Northwestern Railway service, London Euston, calling up Runcorn, Stafford, etc, etc. Stanmore back from the line and so on and so forth. You get the gist. So basically he's asking, would I actually just film station announcements? No. No, sad, that's not my forte. There are people that do it, and people that do it for their own gain. That fly's annoying me. Yeah, there are people that do it, but that's just not me. That's something I wouldn't do myself. And Owen Jedi 5000. Yeah, this is definitely where the multiple questions get thrown into disarray. Hi Jared, do you have a local MP? Yes, I do, and useless. I'm sure you've probably heard that certain county councils in England are actually running out of money, and my particular council has decided to go and really stuff themselves, and they have to make God knows how many budget cuts just to try and balance the books. It's just a complete lost cause. Next question, and from Owen Jedi 5000 again. What do you think of the new NER train service owned by the government? Well, to be honest, it's still Virgin Trains East Coast, really. The service hasn't changed, it's just under a different brand. They've not introduced any new services as of yet. The fleet hasn't changed still. It's still exactly the same, so as it currently stands, it's still the exact same service, so it's okay. It's not amazing, because there's still a few sort of chinks in the armour, but we'll get in there. We're getting there. Right, Stephen Casson. You have to think of my pronunciations on some of these, I'm afraid. You mentioned on one of your that the tilting mechanism on the cross-country Super Voyager had been removed, but on a recent visit to Doncaster I noticed a warning sticker on a 221 saying, "Danger, tilting train, stay clear of gap between body and bogey, should I say, sorry." Did they forget to remove it, or does it still have the tilting mechanism? No, the 221 Super Voyagers for cross-country, they have had the tilting mechanism removed. Primarily because the trains, well, the trains don't need them. It saves them. It actually saves them money for not having to repair them. So they've actually removed the tilt from them completely, and really a lot of the times a cross-country run, they're not running at full pace because a lot of the routes they take go over like level crossings and things like that. So they're actually limited to about 100 miles an hour on a lot of the routes they take. They can do the designated 125, but it's only in a few areas. But no, they've just like the 220s. They don't actually have their tilt in them. The Virgin Trains services do. They will tilt and lean. But if you watch the cross-country Super Voyagers on the corner, you'll actually see they stay relative. Good lord, excuse me. They actually stay relatively flat. But also, fun fact, if you look at the cross-country Voyager, you can actually see where the old Virgin emblem used to be at the very front. You can just make it out. Okay, Owen Jedi 5000 again. Right, and finally, when the Elizabeth line is finished building, will you do a journey from Reading to Shenfield? I don't see why not. It'll be when it does get done. It'll be probably another year or so before it's fully sorted, but I wouldn't mind doing it. It'd be quite good. Right, Sean Jessup. Dudes, do you meet people at stations to watch how you film and manage to see numbers? Well, I'm going to have to start this one again. It seems to be several questions in one. Bear with me. Right, dudes, do you meet people at stations to watch how you film? I do meet people at stations, but I wouldn't say I go there so they can see how I film. I don't. Well, I assume that's not the case, but I do meet up with other train spotters or rally enthusiasts. Just film together, have a good time. Everyone's a winner. How you manage to see numbers when they whiz past, giving it the almighty beans, like 390s? That just comes down to practice. As long as you know where the numbers are on the units, then usually it's okay. If you're standing from a distance, then you can see them that much more clearly. But if you're standing on a platform and like Cheddington for argument's sake, and the 390s are coming herring at you, unless you really know where to look, then it can just be a massive blur at times. I'm not saying I'm perfect. I miss numbers continuously, but yeah, basically it just comes down to practice. The more you practice, and if you know where to actually look for the numbers, then it just becomes that much more easier. And I love West Coast Mainline, great variety of freight, etc. Always love West Coast Mainline vids. You do watch your channel. Yeah, the West Coast Mainline is actually, for mixed traffic, it's probably the best mainline in England, because there's always something good happening. There's always traction movements taking place. There's always freight on the go. You've got so many different access. You've got so many operators running around. ScotRail use it, TransPennine use it, Northern use it. Obviously, you've got Virgin Trains, London Western Railway, Southern. There's so many to choose from. It's a fantastic railway line. It really is. All right, Train Spotter 11 with 2 questions here for you. And the first bit's more of like a statement. I would to say hello to 922. Hello. Alright, question 1. Would you ever visit the Chinner and Princess Risborough Railway and do some filming there? Yeah, because there's a lot of work that's taking place. They're trying to connect it, but they're giving it some sort of extra boost at Princess Risborough. So yeah, I definitely knew I will go on there one day, because it's actually not that far away from me at all. Really, it's Aylesbury, quite frankly. So it's not very far away at all from me. Number 2, what do you think of the new Biff livery on 66783? When I first saw it, that fly is really irritating me. When I first saw it on Facebook, I actually thought it was a Photoshop and someone had done it just for a Mickey. I hadn't actually realised it was a genuine thing. So at first I was like, oh yeah, that's just daft, isn't it? And then I started seeing more and more posts on it. I thought, oh Christ, it's actually a real thing. And it does actually... It works. It's just uncanny. But because it's so uncanny, it's just really eye-catching. I'm going to kill that thing in a minute. But no, it's... yeah, I like it. I do like it, I must admit. Right, Harley Bardo. Can you train spot somewhere on the southeastern main line? I will be. I have got a series planned for that at some stage, so I will be doing something on there. Maybe not this year, I don't think, but hopefully maybe next year. I have to wait and see on that one. Train Spotter 400, I have 2 questions. Do you? I'm sure. Right, number 1. Would you have the attention span to do an all-day freight video, and if so, where would that be? No. No. I can't. I can't put all my focus and attention onto one particular thing. Because freight is such... it's a difficult one, because it can be cancelled at a minute's notice. And because passenger trains have right of way over freight trains every single time, you'll probably find there may be a freight train due at, let's say, 11:30 at Milton Keynes Central to come through. So I could get there for 11:30 and then find the freight trains being held somewhere for a couple of hours for whatever reason it may be. And then you get freight trains that get cancelled, and I couldn't do it. And I've already stated that when I go out filming, I film anything and everything. So obviously passenger trains are going to be in there regardless. If I get freight, added bonus. If I were to do an all-day freight video, it would probably have to be... probably say Preston, because Preston's probably got to be the better place. or Stafford actually. Stafford is actually a good place for freight. If I were to do a solitary freight film, Stafford would have to be the place for me. Right, what is your favourite station in the Midlands and why? I don't know really. Problem is, there's so many good stations in the whole Midlands region. It's a difficult one to really say with any great certainty. I'd probably go with in the Midlands. I don't know. I mean, you've got. Well, really, the Midlands is just really it's Northampton or Milton Keynes, to be fair. I mean, rugby. Would have to be rugby really, because it's got amazing views all round. The actual layout of the station is fantastic. You get plenty of freight, I guess. That's a difficult one, I have to say. I may have to sort of come back to you on that one. Right, Kieran Clark. I've got 8 questions here, but again, I've got 3 questions here in succession, but then I've got several others from everybody else, and then at some stage, the remaining questions from you come up here as well. So, again, I don't know how YouTube works all this, but there are questions that come in really good succession, and then the others get thrown completely out of sync. So question 8 of 8, then it goes to 6 of 8, then 3 of 8. So you can see what it's doing here. It's going balmy. So at some stage I'll get the remainder of these questions up in this video somewhere. Right, 8 of 8. What days do you film trains? Typically on a Saturday, but it can be during the week depending on where I go. 6 of 8. When will you go to Stevenage? I don't really know, to be fair. It's difficult to say because I haven't got any plans to go on the East Coast Main Line for a lengthy period of time. 8, can you do a Scottish accent? If so, can you do it for me? I would do a Scottish accent, but to be perfectly honest, it gets butchered terribly. So I'll think of a I'm actually really tempted to do it now, but I don't want to do it because it's a cheesy Scottish accent. It's a stereotypical Scottish accent. It really is. Like, if a Scotsman were to watch this and listen to me do this accent, he'd probably find it as comedy, quite frankly. Now, if you wanted to do Welsh, yeah, I'm all in. South African, I'm in. American, I'm in. Scottish, nah, you have no idea how tempting it is to do it, but I'm going to resist. Right, Asila Rail Fan 2150. Have you ever been to America before? Either way, what is the one city you'd like to visit and why? Yes, I've been to America twice before. I've been to Florida, Los Angeles and Hawaii, and they were absolutely fantastic. I love America. It's just, there's so many places I want to go to, but if the one place I really want to go to at the moment is New York City. I just want to go there, go to Times Square, Madison Square Gardens, Statue of Liberty. I just want to do it all. I really want to do it all. But I want to go to like Vegas. Excuse me, what is wrong? I don't know what's going on with me today. I want to go to Vegas. I want to gamble on the machines in Vegas to say I've actually gambled in Vegas. To say I've actually done that. I want to go to Seattle. I want to go to Washington DC. I want to go to Detroit, Chicago. Let's say New York. There's just so many places I want to go to, like the Grand Canyon, Niagara Falls. It's just endless. There's so many places in the States I want to go to, but if I really wanted to go somewhere at the moment, it's New York City. Right, Hyperkid 427 plays. Ever been to Derby Station? No, I have been meaning to go. I wanted to go when I did Sheffield, I will admit, but I will be going there at some stage. I don't know when, but I will be going there. And Hypes trains again. No, that's not really a question. That's more just telling me what you saw there. Right, Debbie Tanner. What is the worst delay you've been subject to when filming? probably getting on for 3 years ago. I was in Colchester and I was getting a train to Manningtree, and someone actually jumped at Chelmsford. Someone jumped at Chelmsford, and I was sat in Colchester for about an hour waiting for a train to arrive. That's probably the worst one I've actually been filming, when I'm actually waiting for trains to get to my next destination. Paul Towner Dunn, do you usually get any bother by staff at a station? Only if it's a massive station and I've not gone to like a Network Rail office or the station manager and informed them of what my intentions are. Other than that, not so much. Nakamura Fan 2003, can I film at a station with you? Yeah, of course you can. It just really, it depends where you are in the UK and what station I'm going to be at. Obviously now I'm focusing on my Great Western Main Line series, so today I filmed at Bristol Parkway, Bristol Simple Meads, Bath Spa, Chippenham and Swindon. So my next station is going to be Oxford, Didcot Parkway, Cholsey, which will be adjacent to the line, not the station itself. So if you let me know your availability and what dates you're free, we'll see if we can't get something organised. Thomas Norton, any trips abroad on the cards? Yeah, I'm really am desperate to try and get to Amsterdam at some stage. I promised Debsky that I'd be going there, well, for ages now, and I really am desperate to try and get something sorted for that, because I really want to go there. So I promised her that I'd go there, and I am really desperate to try and keep that promise as best of my ability, because I really want to go there. I really want to experience Amsterdam. I'd love to go filming at the train station. It looks fantastic from the films that I've seen, and yeah, so really am sort of hoping I can get there. Right, Preservation 29. What is the beeping sound in your double O gaze? Oh, you sod. Yeah, see, if you watched the some of the videos I filmed at Barton Crossing, I think it might be it's either a running session or the gala we had. I think it might be the diesel gala we were running. I'm not sure. Or even the running session. One of the two. No, you don't get a prize if you guess what the beeping is, because you know what it is. And when are you going to do another running session? Well, you know, because we commune, we go to the club together, man. Yeah, essentially right. If you don't know if you can't hear the beeping sound, he's got the timestamp is 2019. So if you do fancy a quick check, I can't remember which video it is. It's either the gala or the running session, one of the two. But essentially, one of the club members has a Bachmann London Underground set, DCC fitted, and it was sat there, and every now and again it just made the door beeping sound, beep 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 shh sound. So if you can hear that, that's what it is. No, you don't get a prize because you know what it was, because it was doing it while we were filming. So nah. Right, Mad Train Spotter McRae. What is a flat wheel? Essentially, a flat wheel is literally as it sounds. It's where it's not been worn evenly, so circular. Then essentially, there's like a chunk that's a bit flat. So clunk, 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 clunk. You hear it a lot in freight trains because of the weight. Sometimes the weight isn't distributed evenly. So if a freight train's going slow enough, you can hear. Usually, everything runs smoothly. Dung, 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 dung. That's literally the wheel that's been worn at a slight angle, and it's literally just sort of essentially bouncing along the line. That's really what a flat wheel is in the lamest term I could probably put it in. Right, okay. That's taken me a lot longer to do than I've originally wanted. I've not really got a lot far in there. So, if your questions haven't been answered in this video, they will be up in the next one. I'm filming that immediately after this. It's now 1:10 in the morning, so I'm trying to get through this as quick as I possibly can. So hopefully the next one I'm going to try and rattle through as many questions as I can, as quick as I possibly can as well. So yes, thank you all for watching this one, guys. As I say, if you need a bit more explanation on some of the things I've answered, put them in the comments below, and I will try my best to give a bit more of a detailed answer for you all. If I haven't answered your questions in this video, they shall hopefully be in the next one. So I shall see you all then. take care, guys. I shall see you in, well, probably about 10 seconds. Ta-da!